You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop-up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, and drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you, see you, see you.
Today, this breakfast isn't just breakfast. It might be the first McDonald's breakfast you're having at McDonald's again. This lunch might be a weekly tradition you hadn't had in weeks. And this dinner might be the first one you bought for not just you in a while. Whatever this order is for you, McDonald's will be here to take it.
Get more of the chicken you love with a delicious McChicken sandwich for $1. And for an extra buck, add a refreshing Dr. Pepper. Dining rooms are starting to reopen in certain communities at participating McDonald's. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
A new year means it's time for a new home network that can keep up. With Cox Internet, you have the speed and coverage your family needs to stay connected. You'll enjoy Cox's fiber-based hybrid network with options for fast upload and download speeds. And if your household has lots of connected devices, Panoramic Wi-Fi may be the perfect fit thanks to its additional control features. Plus, with advanced security on Panoramic Wi-Fi, you'll know each connected device is securely protected 24/7. A whole world of connectivity is yours with Cox Internet. Learn more at Cox.com.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language, adult themes, and frequent references to red-headed engagement farmers. I don't know. Fucking listener discretion is advised.
The way I always do. How was I to know she was with the Russians too? I was gambling in Havana. I took a little risk. Send lawyers, guns, and money. Dad, get me out of this.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody?
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Otherwise known as Chat Labs Matter Night, right here live on KLRN Radio. I am one half of the crew for your closing act, Rick Robinson. He's the other half, Mr. Ordinance J. Packard. And I guess you're not getting your memos again, sir. Red-headed engagement farmers was last week. Now it's ginger thoughtbots.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Just kidding. All right, how you doing?
What's going on, man?
Oh, world's on fire. Biden went to Israel. I was really convinced they were going to use that to disappear him. I was kind of surprised they didn't. I don't know. I kept waiting for the announcement. Air Force One just went off radar. Not that I'm cheering that on or anything. I'm just saying with the way that he's being treated now, and everybody seems to be, aware that there's no way he's gonna be able to do this gig for another 5 years. I was kind of waiting for them to be like, yeah, no, yeah, no. But it didn't happen. Instead, we got the cross between Droopy Dog and Boomhauer talking on stage in Israel. Swear to God. I have never met a less energetic, less coherent person in my life, and that's saying something, because I know lots of old people.
Yeah, that was just, what the fuck? What the actual fuck?
And then my favorite part was during the first speech when he's like, yeah, I've seen the video footage and have it on good authority that it wasn't you guys, it was the other team. It's like, what, are we fucking playing football now?
Right.
The other team?
You
what is this,
whatever.
fucking flag football show?
Right. The other team did it. Yay, team.
I'm like, what? Dude, you are everything the Libertarian Party has warned us about for forever before they started drinking their own Kool-Aid and huffing in their own farts. Anyway. I feel
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I feel like I'm politically homeless again. I don't like that feeling.
Oh. Yeah, fucking... Yeah, what is it with, like... Why do dipshit libertarians make it so hard to be a libertarian? It's just like, Jesus Christ. That's the problem with voluntarism and their... Yeah, the over-reading of the fucking non-aggression pact. It's like, okay, so when you're so retarded with the nap, you actually simp for terrorists. Twice.
Okay, so the Libertarian Party, I can almost understand because they really are. I mean, come on, dude, their party color's yellow. It's kind of a given. Just throwing that out there. The part that throws me off is seeing all of these Jewish groups that are like, "Let Gaza live." I'm like, you realize they want you dead, right? I mean, I guess it doesn't impact you because you live here, but you're Jewish, which means you were at some point Israeli, and the people that are closest genetically related to you are trying to be exterminated again, and you're rooting for the guys that are doing it. The hell? I mean, that's like the insurrection today at the Capitol. It was a Jewish protest group that was basically freaking out and chanting "Let Gaza live," and I'm like, I don't understand the cognitive disconnect we have in this country. I just don't. It's like we used to joke all the time about people traveling up from Texas to Oklahoma, their IQ goes up 5 points. Reverse happens when you go to Texas. I'm really starting to feel like anybody that comes from anywhere and goes to college, they lose IQ points. They don't gain them. Because this is all being part of the college education system. I know this.
Because they teach you what to think, not how to think. They used to teach you how to think.
Yeah, now they teach you what to think. And I know this because...
There's a whole Pink Floyd song about that.
Yeah, I
Supertramp.
Occasionally use part of that as a bumper. But no, I know this because I have a really good friend of mine who is college educated who started texting me last night when he started seeing some of the stuff that I was putting out on Facebook and on Twitter, and he's like, I don't understand why you're, so explain to me what you stand with Israel means. I was like, kind of self-explanatory, but let me explain it to you. And we went back and forth for like an hour. And then what about this hospital thing? I was like, this hospital thing is not anything like what Hamas is making it out to be. And sure enough, there's an entire thread that got twitchy today that is all over X, Twitter, whatever the fuck you want to call it, basically outlining all the different ways that, we now know that Hamas was full of shit. What pisses me off about me already knowing Hamas was full of shit, put the shoe on the other foot. If this was our media taking Putin at his word that Ukraine had bombed a hospital, everybody'd be having a shit fit. How can you trust that Russian bastard? But these guys, they're cool. So I guess disinformation is cool again as long as you like the source.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean that's the ebb and flow of disinformation. It's okay as long as it confirms your biases.
I just want the truth. I did find out today.
Well, this is the wrong place for that, Rick.
I did find out today.
You're in the wrong timeline for that.
I did find out today that if you have an Apple phone and you say the Siri activation phase and then say "I want the truth," she quotes the movie back at you. I thought that was kind of cool.
That's good. I didn't know that.
Apparently, Alexa does something similar too. They have a lot of the same kind of little cheats. One I ran across had everybody like freaking out for like a month. You can do the old Konami Contra cheat code with her and Siri too, and they both start talking about Uber secret mode activated or some shit. Everybody was freaking out. What does that mean? What did I just do? And everybody was like, it's just a nod to people that used to play Nintendo. Calm down.
Right.
I just thought it was funny.
That's the good stuff.
I do have in this one last little side note since we got onto this rabbit trail. I do have a friend that has a fully connected home with Alexa and she can control the lights and everything. I saw the coolest thing ever. We were like sitting there and he was just, hey, watch this. And he said, hey Alexa, intruder alert. All of a sudden she starts talking, the lights go red. She's like, I am calling the police right now. I'm like, what? What? He's like, yeah, I've used that to scare the fuck out of people that have been trying to get into my house. Oh. Technology is wonderful until you realize you've put a wiretap in your home. But when you already have a wiretap in your pocket, what difference does it make?
I was going to say, it's everybody complains about I would never have one of those in my home because one, it's actually nice to be able to ask the NSA, can dogs eat pancakes? And two, you carry the ultimate wiretap in your pocket all day long.
Have you ever asked your Alexa what happened at the 2020 election? You should do that sometime.
No, I haven't.
You should do that sometime. I'm sure by now they've fixed it, but she used to go on this long tirade about how there was widespread voter fraud and blah, blah, blah. I'm sure they've fixed it by now. But I actually saw somebody do that right after the election. They put out a video about it, and my daughter has one in her room, so I went and asked, and sure enough, it was like, yeah, during the 2020 election, everyone's pretty sure that Joe Biden didn't actually win, and there was widespread voter fraud, this, that, and the other, and started citing sources, and I'm like, holy shit, this is on Alexa, what the fuck? Oh.
And now you're going to have to do it.
Oh, yeah, it's just, If it wouldn't have confused my daughter, I would have gone in and renamed her Alexa Wiretap, but she would have been like, I don't know.
So, so I got to go back. Jeff, thanks for filling in last week. You did an awesome job.
He's got really good at live. I'm just saying. For somebody that was like terrified.
Yeah, well, not just really good at live. I mean, he hasn't done a lot of political either, and you guys did great. If I was going to be another half hour later from work today, I would have sent him a message saying, "Hey, can you do it again?"
And he'd have been like, "Leave me alone."
Right.
Oh.
So what you got going on, man?
No, I mean, same stuff, different day. Watching the Republicans still not be able to get their shit together. I'm going to die on this hill. Matt Gaetz is an anarchist.
No, just... it was like when him and McCarthy were going at it. I said, it really doesn't matter who wins because they're both retarded. And that continues to carry on. I mean, okay, so I get why people like Jim Jordan, and I don't mind him, but it's like, our friend Dan always says on Twitter, all he seems to do is just tweet and never actually do anything about it. It's like, good tweet, Jim. Thanks. And that's it. That's as far as it goes. He'll tweet about something. And if only he was in a position, in a body of government, who is able to actually do the things that he suggests be done.
Yeah.
Or at least attempt them.
Well, I mean, so my whole point with it is, though, I don't know who I want as speaker anymore. Because I don't know if, I mean, other than, my dream pick at this point would be get Trump in there and then impeach both, Biden and heels up, just because it would piss everybody off. But that wouldn't happen either.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the thing about it is,
yeah,
and this is something that I've been ranting about for the last 2 weeks. The GOP is now subject to a tyranny of majority, or tyranny of minority, which is what we say we're always trying to fight anyway, is because we're tired of all these, these less than 1% of the population getting to say all this shit, or getting to say or influence all this shit. The thing about it is, whether you like McCarthy or not, he had 96% of the caucus.
Yeah.
8 people blew him up, all because the only reason he could get the job in the first place was because Matt Gaetz made him put in the 1 vote rule to get himself thrown out. That's my problem, because I didn't know that at first. I wasn't that was when I was going through retiring and everything else, and wasn't really paying that much attention in the beginnings of all this, because I was working on trying to figure out how to get away from the day job and everything else. I didn't know about the 1 vote thing until right before it actually happened. And then I started going back and thinking about all the times that Matt Gaetz was running to a microphone every time McCarthy didn't do what Matt Gaetz wanted McCarthy to do. And he went and tattled to the media over and over and over again. And then you have McCarthy on the way out the door basically saying, look, you guys are mad at me, but the part of this you don't know, because I don't run to a microphone, is I kept trying to put together the spending bills the way they said they wanted them done. A certain number of Republicans and all the Democrats blocked me every time I tried to put it up for a vote. And then Matt Gaetz would run to the microphone again and say, here we are again, Speaker McCarthy's not putting up the spending bills the way that he promised he would. That's why I'm pissed off. Matt Gaetz is being rewarded for being a jackass.
Well, isn't everybody? I mean...
But can we finally start fixing that now?
Well...
Please?
See, this is where I keep getting... Every time anybody says, we need term limits. No. We have term limits. They're called elections. We need a less apathetic electorate.
Oh... This is true. I wish it weren't, but it's true.
So, yeah. Yeah. But I mean, that's the same problem all across the board. Just completely and totally apathetic electorate. And, boy, don't I know that in California. Holy shit. Yes. Okay. Here's something. This is, somebody brought up an interesting point at work today. And, I don't know if you've all heard, in California, the minimum wage for fast food workers is being raised to $20 an hour. For fast food workers. Not across the board, just fast food workers. Not, say, farm workers. And the point that they brought up, and I found this was fascinating, is, has anybody ever actually done research? And Jen Venlar, if you're listening, I would love for you to do this. You too, sister told you. Gavin Newsom owns wineries. What is the hourly wage of his farm workers?
Probably not $20 an hour.
Probably not $20 an hour. So I'm just curious. And again, Jen, looking to you. You're our California bulldog. I may actually just messenger. But yeah, that's been on my mind all day long.
Well, I mean, well, first of all, we know he's not paying the great pickers $20 an hour. Second of all, that's just more of these are the rules for me, but not, or for you, but not for me. That's how everything pretty much always is.
So yeah, anyway, that's, if you hadn't heard, $20. Which, it pisses me off, because it's like, okay, I make good money, but it still makes the fast food gig, kind of like, you know what? I could just absolutely fucking check out of all responsibility, you know, of all pride in my work and everything else, and just coast on that until inflation were to kick in.
Well, I mean, so there's the rub, right? So you're telling me that people that get orders wrong 95% of the time deserve to make more than I was making before I retired. Now, granted, in California, it's different, but you know, I mean, we've already seen it nationwide when everybody started making the push for the fight for 15. Now that everybody's paying that, and now that it's not, you know, Trump rewarding people for paying their people better, and it's government saying you're going to do it or else. We're now, I mean, shit. In my local Walmart, I'm lucky if there's 4 check stands open. Doesn't matter what day it is, doesn't matter what day of the week it is, doesn't matter what time it is. There's usually 4 check stands open and 1 person in customer service. The rest of it's all automated. And now it's even worse. I don't remember the name of the store, but there's a store that is being tested somewhere now where basically you have to, there's I don't know if it's through Apple Pay or whatever, but you have to swipe to get in to be able to go into the store in the first place. Then you basically go pick everything up that you're going to be getting. Then you swipe on your way out, and it automatically charges your card. And then you have to swipe again to be able to leave the store to verify that you've paid.
Yeah, given the crime problem in California, I'm okay with that.
Well, I mean, but the thing about it is,
I mean,
there's like 2 people in the whole store that are basically there just to maintain the computers because everything else is automated.
Yeah. So that part of it is annoying. It's like a lot of you know that I was out of town last week. I went into a real city, and I walked into a Lowe's, and I got the things I needed at the Lowe's, and then I was walking out, and I just got right into the self-checkout line because I have now been programmed to do that. And just as I was about ready to check out, I heard, "No, I can help you over here, sir." And 1, somebody calling me sir without it being followed by "you're making a scene," and 2, actually having somebody working a register.
Dude, I always try to make it a point to, if at all possible, use the register where somebody's actually getting paid to do it. Because first of all, if I'm going to be checking myself out and I'm going to be sacking my own groceries, I want a fucking employee discount. Just saying.
Right? No shit.
I actually embarrassed my kids once because they were like, we were in line and there was a line. She's like, self-checkout's open right over there. You can use that. That's cool. When do I get my discount? When's the employee Christmas party? She shut up real quick.
Should do that more often. Everybody should do that more often. But we kind of asked for this though, because when they were doing the whole fight for 15 thing, and we would show the McDonald's picture with the kiosks for ordering, it's like, I've seen your future. You're not in it. So we kind of like, we helped this into fruition with we memed this into existence.
I'm telling you, what is that? Manifestation? Meming is the new manifestation. I need to start putting out memes with tons of money and shit. I'm just saying. But no, I don't know. The whole world has gone nuts, and to see all these people that are pro-Palestine now, I'm just like, I know I say this a lot, and it makes me sound like a cranky old man, but I don't recognize my country anymore, and that makes me really, really sad.
Yeah, there was a time when you would you'd be shit terrified of supporting Hamas, and now it's kind of like, okay.
Well, I mean, and they talked about this a little bit last hour, and I had to get in on it a little bit because Darylyn was having internet issues. But I mean, it's not new. I mean, and that's their questions was, is this whole, let's all hate on the Jews a new thing? I'm like, please see World War II for the answer to that question. But even after 9/11, there were people in this country, granted in much smaller numbers, that were like, give peace a chance, and we're like, bomb them back to the fucking Stone Ages. I miss the time when we realized that it was us or them. Because Israel knows this. Yes. They've been living it. And this whole occupation theme that the pro-Hamas crowd is putting out is bullshit. Because they left in 2005. They said, you know what? It's yours. We'll even make our people leave. It's yours. You govern yourselves. These people have beachfront property they've done nothing with. These people are getting millions of dollars from a bunch of countries that are just going, look, see, we don't hate you, don't hate us. And it's being used to kill people. And the thing that you asked earlier, what's going on or what I've been thinking about, you know, something that kind of snuck by me until this morning? Do you realize that one of the last bits of the Iranian sanctions disappeared last night at midnight? There are no longer any...
Wait, what?
There are no longer any caps on Iran being able to sell weapons to anyone for any reason at any time. It expired at midnight.
And definitely wasn't renewed. Fun!
So, if you're wondering how close we are to World War III, the doomsday clock is at about 11:59 and 59. I'm just saying. All the generations, all the ZBs in the crowd are like, what the fuck is the doomsday clock? Look it up, kid.
Right. But yeah, okay, so that's some more bullshit right there too. And the Federation of Concerned Scientists, all left-wing fucking dipshits, determine how close we are to doom. And it's weird how it always gets closer whenever there's a Republican in charge. And it only happens when an American, only American presidents seem to tip the scale one way or the other on the doomsday clock.
That's because,
you could have absolute fucking China go full 100% nuclear, ready to go. You just saber rattling to the nth degree like they are. And the Federation of Concerned Scientists would be like, oh, do just another day.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I haven't actually looked at when that group was founded, but I think it was sometime. I think they really started losing their shit in the Reagan era.
Yeah, they really did.
Around the same time of when, he had the whole, supposed hot mic incident when everybody, oh my God, he's got Alzheimer's. No, that was on purpose. When he's getting ready for the press conference, the bombers are hot in 5 minutes. Mr. President, your mic's on. I know.
The Russians will begin bombing in or it was us, yeah. We were going to start bombing in 5 minutes.
Yeah, the funny thing is, John Sununu actually mentioned that when I interviewed him about his book. He's like, everybody thought that was him, losing his mind. That he admitted, he's like, no, he did it on purpose. He knew the Russians were always listening. So he would just randomly troll them.
Yeah, well, are you trolling the press, too?
Exactly.
See, and that's that's the difference between Reagan and Trump. Trump is a good troll, but Reagan, he trolled you to the point in the way that you had to appreciate it. You had to like him for it, rather than us just appreciating Trump's trolling for wow, he really gets them to drop the mask. But Reagan would do it, and they'll laugh along with it. He was like, "Oh, you got us, fuck."
Reagan could verbally teabag you and then invite you over for tea later, and you couldn't say no.
Yeah.
And that will always be the difference to me between Trump and Reagan. Reagan had an off switch. Reagan knew.
Yeah.
Reagan knew how to read a room. For somebody that Trump always claims, I know how to read a room. If you do, then at some point your read a room scale got busted, sir. Because you should know that you can push so far, and then you need to dial back. But the problem with Trump, and I've said this for a long time. If you read his books, and I've read all of them, he actually admits that he loves to be the smartest person in the room. That's dangerous. I never want to be the smartest person in the room. And if I am, I'm going to find a new room. Because if I'm not somewhere where I'm being challenged or I'm learning, there's no point in me being there. If I'm the person that everyone is always coming to, then I need to find a new room. Or if I'm basically setting it up to where everybody around me is a bunch of lackeys and they're a bunch of toadies, then I need a new room. And that's Trump's problem. That's been Trump's problem for a long time. The difference was when he was a Democrat, nobody cared. Once he said, oh, I'm going to run as a Republican, he became enemy of the state #1. And he didn't ever learn to dial it back. I mean, he did it again just this last weekend. You don't talk shit about the Prime Minister of Israel when they're in a fight for their life. I don't care how badly you hurt your feelings. You don't do that. That's just wrong. Israel is our only true ally in that region. And you just pissed him off. And then he comes out 3 days later, oh, I always stand with Israel. I've always got Bibi's back. I was like, yeah, until the next time he hurts your feelings. Fucking prick. I'm done with the instability. I'm done with everybody thinking that it's all that it's all or nothing. That's what pisses me off about what's going on in Congress right now. Were there things that people were pissed off about? Yes, but when you've only got a 5-vote majority, it's called compromise. The very definition of compromise is both sides are pissed off. That means McCarthy was doing a pretty good job because both sides were pretty pissed off. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. I've been doing this since, 2009? I remember when I first started doing this, that was all I ever heard. We want people to come together and fix shit. Now we don't.
No, we just want our team to win now.
But at the expense of what? Congress is being held hostage by 8 people. And a bunch of Democrats who being held hostage by 8 people and a bunch of Democrats who think if they just hold on long enough, somebody's going to cave and then they're going to get Speaker Jeffries. And if that happens, I will never let Matt Gaetz live it down. Never. Because we're a lot closer than anybody wants to admit.
Generally, this is the feature part of Congress being, being completely inept. That's a feature. That's good because they can't fuck with us when they're inept.
Yeah, and I normally would agree with you, except the world is on fire right now, and we can't do anything.
The world's always on fire.
It's a little more on fire than it was under Trump.
I mean, come on. No. 40 years ago, Billy Joel wrote a song about it. Okay, the fire was going then. Okay, the world is always on fire. I don't find the panic. I don't know, maybe it's just me because I thrive during chaos. I don't see the panic. Oh, the world is on fire. Everything sucks. Everything always sucks. It sucked 30 years ago. It sucked 20 years ago.
I mean, I don't think everything sucks. I just think we're a lot closer to World War III than anybody wants to admit. Because we don't have...
But this is the first time Israel and Palestine have gone at it, and everybody in the Middle East taking up a side in it. This isn't the first time that Russia has been aggressive in a foreign nation. This isn't the first time that... I mean, we did all this. This was the whole Cold War.
Yeah.
Just now we're doing it without a Cold War.
Except the difference is now it's all happening all at once. And it's hot war, not Cold War.
Well, we're not in a shooting war with anybody. I mean, not like the big players. We're still doing our little proxy wars, but we're not. We're like not actively shooting Russians except for when they show up in Syria and we just happen to bomb the shit out of them, or Chinese in the Congo. But you don't hear about that shit on the news. But we're always. I don't know. Being a big fan of the pendulum theory, I don't see. I mean, I think we're at the end of the swing and it's going to start swinging back. But I've been saying that for 5 years too. So what the fuck do I know?
Well, that's just it. We are, or we should be at the end of the swing, and in a lot of ways we are, because a lot of people are starting to see exactly how racist the left has been the entire time, and how they're mostly the ones that have been farming useful idiots. To go back to your disclaimer, because that's pretty much what they do. Every time they feel like a group is starting to work their way off the plantation, they start paying them special attention again, and then they reel them back in and be like, no, you still need us, when in reality, it's them that need the group. But, I don't know. Something feels different to me this time. And maybe it's because we have somebody that's supposed to be the leader of the free world that we know actually isn't. Since I have no idea who's actually calling the shots right now, that's what's making me nervous. Because we know it ain't him. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But anyway. Holy shit.
Wow, we just blew right through commercial time.
Yeah, but we're almost to we blew through commercial time and we're almost to the end anyway. Got like 15 minutes left. We're almost to the what are you watching portion of the show. Oh.
Well, yeah, what are you watching?
Let's see, what am I watching? Still Lower Decks, which I'll watch the latest episode of that when we get done here. And then, unfortunately, lately I've been watching a lot more news because, I have to kind of do this stuff for a living now. So normally at night I try to unplug and watch something else. What? There was something else that I had found that I was watching, and I can't think of what it was now. I've been, I know, I'm old. I found, the entire series actually of NCIS New Orleans, and it's one of the only ones I hadn't watched that I actually happen to be a pretty big Scott Bakula fan. So that is currently my I watch till I fall asleep show. Because I made it all the way to like season 6.5 of Deep Space Nine, and I watched it so recently. I was like, you know what? I know pretty much every word of these last 20 somewhat, 30 somewhat episodes. I'll come back to that later. And again, kind of feel like, season 6 was not as bad as season 5 of Babylon 5, but I still kind of feel like most of season 6 didn't really need to, or not season 6, season 7. But I kind of feel like most of season 7 really didn't need to be there. It's like,
They needed to wrap up the story.
Kinda, I don't know.
And, it took Nicole DeBoer out of, the soap area realm and put her in the sci-fi realm, which later, when she was in an episode of SG-1, now that she's a little milfy, even better than she was when I was in Deep Space Nine. But they needed to resolve everything. But you're right in the fact that a lot of people theorize the reason why they did 7 seasons with Deep Space Nine is so it would match the 7 seasons of TNG.
No, then that's exactly.
And the same reason why they did Voyager in 7 seasons. So,
his Enterprise was actually supposed to get 7, but it just never really caught on. The funny thing is,
not enough people had faith.
Well, the
faith of the heart.
I see what you did there. The funny thing about that is, though, Discovery has fucked up New Trek so much. The only thing that's really saved it was the last season of Picard and the Strange New Worlds, because it's kind of like old Star Trek. It's got the woke, but it's not as bad. Plus, it's more episodic, which is what everybody's used to. But the funny thing is, Discovery has broken the Matrix as far as Star Trek is concerned so badly that now everybody's like, maybe we should give Enterprise another shot. Let's reboot that one.
Remember all the shit we gave Enterprise? That's kind of like all the shit that everybody gave the prequels.
Yeah.
Once they got the Star Wars sequels, I miss those days of the prequels.
It's like I don't hate Jar Jar quite so much now because at least he wasn't. Yeah. Although I will say I was probably the only person.
You think you hate Jar Jar? Let me introduce you to Rilo.
Yeah, I will
Hooray.
say. I will say I think I was the only person in the theater that cheered when Skywalker died. Just saying, I got looks. It's like, obviously you people are not into politics. Leave me alone. But here's the other thing about that, though. Since you brought it up, there's all these things that they've put out that would explain things that would have explained so many things that made zero sense at the time. Like now they're talking about how, if they had been able to tell the story the way they wanted to tell it, that Rey is actually a clone, and that's why she has the Force powers that she has, is because she's part Skywalker and part Palpatine. And I'm like, that should have been something that somebody explained at some point, so I could understand why it took Luke Skywalker 3 fucking movies to still look like he was swinging a hatchet when he was swinging a lightsaber. And then this bitch can, like, do force push from, like, 5 minutes in. Like, that should have been information. That was information that we needed to know. But at the same time, even if all that was true, why did we have to rehash episode 4 with a female heroine? Down to the same fucking type of weapon.
See, here's my theory on that: is they're actually retconning it so that way it could make sense, because that only was in the graphic novelization, or in the novelization of it, that she was a clone, because that was why it was never addressed in the movies, because afterwards when they were putting the books out there, we've got to unfuck this somehow. I don't know. They were. I mean, I feel like Princess Leia when she recorded the hologram for Obi-Wan. Help us, the sequels. You were her only hope, and you fucked us. See, what I do like is that they are exploring. Well, depending upon who you listen to in the YouTube verse, is that they're still exploring the veil between worlds to retcon Kennedy's Star Wars.
Yeah, this needs to happen.
And yeah, that's kind of like, for those of you who don't know, that's like the multiverse of madness, where it's like, anything is possible. So when they do something, when they make a terrible mistake with something in the comic books, they can go, oh, well, that was just an alternate reality. I don't really feel much better now. That didn't actually happen.
Well, I mean, yes, it's common in comic books, but it's also really common in science fiction. I mean, hell, Stargate did episode after episode after episode that were kind of homages to the Dark Mirror thing from Star Trek. I mean, hell, even Enterprise did a 2-parter that I really wish they would have made an entire season out of, because it was awesome. the way they handled the whole mirror universe thing was amazing. I'm like, I really wish we'd have gotten an entire season out of that. I think that would have drawn a lot more people in if it wasn't just a 2-parter.
Well, and we've talked about this in the past in Voyager, the 2-parter Year in Hell.
Yeah,
that was supposed to be a whole season too.
Yeah, and it should have been.
Which, with Red Foreman as the big bad, come on, that would have been fantastic.
I kept waiting.
And even though he wasn't the big bad, he was just trying to fix a mistake he had made.
Yeah, so 2 things. One, I kept waiting for him to be able to figure out how to sneak in a dumbass. I was kind of mad that he never did.
Right.
And 2, I was really disappointed that, when the timeline reset and he got his wife back. Of course, granted, when the timeline reset, he couldn't remember anything that had happened before. He was still the same asshole that wound up losing his wife in the first place, because she's like, come spend time with me. He's like, I have to work. Like, really, dude, we just watched you for 2 whole episodes pining for your wife. You finally get her back. I have to work. You didn't miss your wife. You just wanted to fuck with the whole universe, motherfucker.
No, I actually think that has more to do with the fact that was a message that time is a closed loop.
No, well, I mean, that is one of the theories, and it's probably exactly. I mean, it probably was. I don't know. I just found it funny. It could also be I was a little bitter because the last time I watched that set through was about a year after my divorce, so I may have been a little bitter at that time. So.
Okay, you know what? I just saw a tweet, and this is something that's been bugging me. The quality of milk these days, this is from Right Girl Problems. The quality of milk these days is so bad, if it even makes it to the expiration date, it's going without going bad. It's like a surprise. I have noticed that. Well, I'm okay. I'm noticing that a lot. I'm a big milk drinker. I never stopped. I never grew out of it. But I'm noticing that, like she said, even if it does make it to the expiration date, even the last week, I mean, it's like it's being shipped warm. It's like it's definitely a degradation of quality by the time it's hitting the store shelf. You can finish that gallon with a week left, and you're like, God, it feels like it's already starting to turn.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've noticed that it's not just with milk, though, either. The last time we bought eggs, they kind of turned pretty quick. I was like, what the fuck? But I don't know.
I haven't had trouble with eggs, which is weird because I'm in California, and that's like, apparently eggs are illegal or something. I don't know.
Everything in your state.
I don't pay attention to the
Everything
laws.
in your
Everything's illegal. Yeah, it's like that line from Demolition Man. And if it's not good, it's bad. Therefore, illegal.
Oh, I don't know.
And I was today years old when I found out there's cookies and cream Pop-Tarts.
Dude, speaking of, I actually found banana nut bread Pop-Tarts. I didn't know that was a thing either.
Ooh.
And then Snickers.
I need to find. See, the Snickers I knew.
But yeah, banana nut bread Pop-Tarts. 5 out of 5 recommend, especially hot. Just saying.
Okay, now this is the second time that somebody has mentioned. I mean, other than because when I used to work tech, I used to, like for when I would have low income people who couldn't afford my services, especially if like grandmotherly, I would get paid in banana nut bread. It's like, okay, you can't afford to pay me my hourly rate, just bake me a loaf of banana nut bread. Even keep half for yourself, but just give me some banana nut bread. So if you didn't, that's kind of a big thing for me. And for you to just mention that with Pop-Tarts, and then 2 days ago, I had made some random food tweet, and somebody else said, yeah, but have you tried making French toast with banana nut bread? And I had forgotten about it. And never again. I am never forgetting about it again.
So, speaking of things you might want to try, Uncrustables French toast.
Wait, what? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You take the Uncrustables, the little peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that are the circles with none of the crust on them.
Yeah.
A little bit of egg wash, some nutmeg, a little bit of vanilla. Yeah, good stuff. It's like a fried peanut butter and jelly sandwich on steroids. And I'm a big fan of fried peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Probably why I'm only maintaining weight now instead of losing. But at least I'm maintaining.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, along that line, I'm maintaining weight now too, and I figured, God, you'd think after the summer I just worked, I would have lost quite a bit of weight, and then I remembered that muscle weighs twice as much as fat.
Yep, I was gonna say that's why.
Because I know I've been putting on muscle because I have a very outdoor physical job, so I'm like, I was like getting pissed that I was getting no arguing or getting losses. I was just flat, and then I realized, you know what? I'm getting a little swole.
Yep, and that's why you're maintaining. I unfortunately am swollen in all the wrong places still. Anyway.
So I am watching. Okay, God damn it, Jeff, you got me hooked on Yo-Yo Camp for one. So I'm watching that until. And is that it for thirst? She's just got the coolest gadgets. She really does, and a little bit of thirst. She's been doing this whole thing lately where she's like in rainstorms, so she's got. I mean. Her galoshes look kind of like knee highs, which okay, but yeah. So, and then I started watching Stargate again out of solidarity for the two people I got. Well, I like to convince myself that I talked Oilfield Rando into watching it, but maybe I helped a little. But he watched the whole series in 2 weeks, and Atlantis in another week. What? Because, he's 1,000 miles from home in a RV and nothing else to do when he's not working. So, yeah.
That's a lot of TV,
okay,
though.
Jeff, the Yo-Yo Camp was payback for Wood Capital, wasn't it? If you haven't heard me talk about Wood Capital, I think it's Wood Capital. I got to bring up hang on a second. Now I have to look. So it's the insanely hot family that are all loggers, and like the dad's a logger and the two hot daughters and the mom all work in the mill. What is it?
I was gonna say I got nothing.
Yeah, Lumber Capital. Yeah, insanely hot daughters doing the all the sawing of the wood, giggity, into lumber. And the dad is the one who's out doing the logging and everything. The insane hot mom. Everybody in the family is just insanely hot. It's not right. It's not normal. And, yeah. Apparently they're up in your neck of the woods, too. They do a lot with hemlock.
Ow. Sorry about that. Wait, you said they do what?
It's like they're up in Jeff's area. They work in Hemlock a lot. The wood site. The wood. Anyway. In the immortal words of Socrates, I just drank what?
Oh.
Never mind. I'm rambling. I'm tired.
No, I trust me, I got it. That was
Okay.
that was actually from, wasn't that from Bill and Ted's?
Real Genius.
No,
That's from Real
no,
Genius.
Real Genius. That's what it was. Why was I I don't know. Probably because blonde. But yeah, Real Genius. That's another one I need to watch. I actually just watched Weird Science the other night again. That is a movie that could not be made again.
No. And doing my 31, and I know I've missed a couple days, but doing my 31 days of Boingo, I realized how much I hate the song Weird Science. Danny Elfman has always hated the video because he had no directive control over it whatsoever. They're just kind of like going, hey, we're shooting this video. We're going to put in clips for the movie. Just show up on the set and do your thing. And he's just so embarrassed by that video. He cringes whenever he hears it. I'm like that with the song. I get it's just not a good song.
It didn't have to be a good song. It was from a movie.
It was the theme song to a movie.
I mean, come on. How many actual theme songs have been good, though? Out of the thousands of movies that have been made, I can think of like 5.
Yeah, someday there will be a good one. I have faith. Faith of the heart.
I'm too tired for that, sir.
Is our rule, whenever anybody says faith, you have to say faith of the heart afterwards?
Yeah.
Because I have faith. And you reply, faith of the heart. Just like it's a rule whenever anybody tells you to go fuck yourself, you have to say, fuck me first, you coward. Or fuck me yourself, you coward.
There's people I don't want to say that to. I don't care what the rule is. I'm just saying.
Because it totally disarms anyone. Because the dude's like, okay, is he gay? But yeah, anyway. But also on top of Yo-Yo Camp, I'm like I said, so I started watching Stargate again out of solidarity, and then everybody who was watching either finished it or they went back to X-Files. Which, by the way, I just found out that Andrew Robinson was in an episode of the X-Files. Garrick.
He was?
Yeah. Let's see. Looking at the DM I got. Hang on. Because it has the episode and now I have to look it up, though. It was... Looks like Season 8, Episode 16. No, Season 6, Episode 16.
Oh, I'll have to go find that one. I don't remember that. But then again, I probably wouldn't have recognized him back then anyway. So speaking of Deep Space Nine, because like I said, I'd been rewatching it a little bit, and I didn't really watch it in chronological order this time, unless it was just when I turned it on when I was sleeping. I kind of went through it, picked the favorite episodes that I liked first, and then kind of started from the beginning. The one thing that I noticed is Chief O'Brien was that show's whipping boy. Anything bad that ever happened usually involved Chief O'Brien. I mean, and the weird thing is, like, they always say lightning never strikes twice in the same place. Bullshit. So in Next Generation, O'Brien was possessed. In Deep Space Nine, his wife was possessed.
Yeah.
He was cloned.
Well,
I mean, it's like anytime anything bad ever happened, O'Brien was in the thick of it. Then he went undercover somehow and became some, secret agent dude, which I thought was weird, but whatever. And no, I don't mean on the holodeck either. He actually...
No. He had to go... What was it? Undercover to, not the Trust, because that was SG-1. But yeah, he had to go undercover
he
to...
was infiltrating the Orion Syndicate.
It was some... Yeah, it was some bullshit side thing that... Okay, speaking of Deep Space Nine, too, I watched something on YouTube the other day where they were talking about Star Trek villains who were actually right. And Section 31 Sloan was actually, he was right. He was justified in what he was doing, and the methods were wrong. But he was right. And then he also mentioned how the the reboot of Khan, Khan was right in that one too, because he was taken out of stasis and just made to be a fucking bitch boy slave puppet antagonist.
Yep.
So.
Well, I mean that.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Well, I mean, this goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show, though. We now have a society where we seem to side with the antagonist, and that's because I think of a lot of the way that the writing has changed, because it's not white hat, black hat anymore. Everything's gray. And now that's bleeding over into everything, even when you find out Hamas lied about a hospital being blown up and who launched the rocket.
But they always do.
But not according to the media.
All right. Now, this is the first time. Even though I remember this happening so fucking always.
Well, that's like in the middle of the whole John Cusack thing on his thread. Somebody came at me and said, well, when's the last time Hamas blew up a hospital? It was like 7 days ago when they shot a rocket into an Israeli children's hospital. They did not. So I sent him the link.
Propaganda!
I mean, it's just all fucking stupid. But anyway, we are over time at this point, or pretty close, and I know you have to work.
Well, we're right on time because they went over. Yeah. Yeah. So, where can people find you this week, or where can people not find you?
I was going to say, this week or this month's going to be busier than usual because, of course, tomorrow night I have the Whatever Show at 7, and then we have a break, and then I should be back with Jen and Rick. I believe as long as Jen is able to attend, we actually have a guest coming on tomorrow night, which we don't do that often. Michael Loftus will be joining us for the hour. Then I'll be back doing He Said, She Said.
Never get asked to be a guest anymore.
Well, it's because nobody ever knows when you're working.
Go ahead.
Besides, you were on just last week. Shut up. You did like a whole thing on Friday. Shut up. Anyway,
not on Jen and Rick. But...
well, that's because half the time I never even know if we're going to have a Jen and Rick because their schedule's gotten crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Then He Said, She Said with Aggie, and then Saturday night we have Juxtaposition for Juxtober, so we will pick up where we left off with part 1, because unfortunately the season got us both this last Saturday, so we will have to do a makeup episode. And then and then Monday I'm off. Tuesday I actually have someone from the Jewish community who wants to come on, so instead of airing the Loftus Party show, we will probably do a pop-up Off the Rails again. And then back around doing all this stuff again next Wednesday. And when I'm out doing all that, you can find me as the executive producer of the Loftus Party podcast and a contributor on both Twitchy.com and the LoftusParty.com, and eventually again on MisfitsPolitics.com, because it's not like I don't have enough to do. And you can also find me on most social media platforms at RowdyRick73. Where can folks find you, Amish?
Well, let's see. Tomorrow night you can find me on The Culture Shift with entertainment writer Brad Slager. Excuse me, I'm mid-burp. You can find me on Saturday night on the aforementioned Juxtaposition. I believe I'll have to confirm, but I think this is the week we were going to have Aggie on to talk about the anthropological history of witches. And then Tuesday on Manorama, probably, if I get an invite. And background on Wednesday with you here again. You can find got to get back on it. I've been so slammed the last few days, I haven't been able to do a post on it. You can find my 31 Days of Boingo on my main feed my only feed now, actually, I still have the Secret Amish guy, but he's out doing covert work for the folk. So you can find me on my Twitter account, Ordnance Packard. And I think that's it. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. You pretty much covered it, I think.
Oh, in 2 weeks no, wait. Next week would be the week for
I was gonna say next week is
next week is the week for I almost said for toxic masculinity.
Missed it by 1 day because the 31st is Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
so yes, time. Unfortunately there will be no Slooty Handmaid's Tale costumes for toxic masculinity this year.
Aww. I'm not getting my memos.
Yeah. Or my DMs. Okay.
Oh.
You all right? You with me?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just starting.
Play us out.
Starting to feel the fade coming.
The way I
thanks everybody for hanging
Hell,
out with us. And hey, give me a second, sir. You always do that when I'm bringing the music up. I haven't done that yet. Anyway, so thanks everybody for hanging out. It's been a fun, fast 4 hours. We'll be back doing this again next week and back for everything we do tomorrow, too. So, yay, fun times. Okay, now do your thing.
Hail Hydra.
No hailing of the Hydra. We've had this discussion.
I took a